My name is Christine Howard. I'm here to validate bathing a patient. The 7 steps are to check the physician's order, make sure I gather the right equipment. I'm going to wash my hands, introduce myself to the patient. I'm going to make sure it's the correct patient by checking their wristband for their medical record number, their birthday, and their name. And then I'm going to explain the procedure and provide for privacy. So I have all my equipment here, the basin, the gloves, soap, a washcloth, 2 towels, a brand new gown, and a bath blanket, bed blanket. So the first thing I'm going to do is, my hands are already washed, so I'm going to bring the bed to working position.
I'm going to fill the drip chamber halfway to 2/3 of the way. I'm going to prime the
Patient's head.
So I'm going to unprime her.
Guardrail down. Wash my gloves. I have my water that's warm temperature. I'm going to wash the face first. I'm going to make sure they only use warm water and no soap. And lather up the towel. Make sure it's wet. I'm going to start with the eyes from the inside out. Always make sure you're using different parts of the washcloth when you're washing the face, cheeks, and the ears, and the outside, and behind the ears.
I'm going to adjust the trip right now.
I'm going to do the neck. The patient is wearing a brace at the moment, so if they weren't, I would make sure I clean the whole neck area behind the neck. Okay. I'm going to take a towel, make sure the patient's face is dry. Make sure the whole face is dry.
I'm going to adjust the drip rate for 15 drips for 15 seconds. Just
Neck
for those
area.
50 drips for 50 seconds.
Okay, so the patient's head's done. So now I'm going to do next, I'm going to make sure that I change the patient's gown. Before I do that, I'm going to take off the blanket. Bath towel. Okay, so we have the bath towel on, so now I'm going to take the patient's gown off.
Okay? Now that I've adjusted my drip rate,
Okay, so I'm going to start with the chest area first. Soap and water. Remove the blanket. I'm going to wash the chest. The female, make sure you're getting underneath the breast area. Okay. Pat dry. Okay. I'm going to do the arm. Left arm first, make sure you tuck underneath. Make sure you get a towel and put it underneath the arm so you don't wet the bed. Washcloth, clean the hand, make sure you get in between the fingers. From the wrist up, make sure you wash the whole arm. And you get in the axillary region of the arm. Okay. Use a towel to pat dry. Cover the patient. Now I'm going to move over to the right side of the patient to do her other arm. Guardrail up always when you're going to the other side for safety. I'm take my equipment with me. Snuggle down. Blanket underneath. Towel under the arm. Make sure you don't get the blanket wet.
Victoria, you want to record me?
Soap and water. Start with the hands, in between the fingers. Wash from the wrist up. Make sure you get into the axillary region.
Ingrid. Ingrid.
Okay. Pat dry.
I don't want to take too long. Remember what you said?
Okay. Here's what she said. Get the drip rate right.
I got
You're
it.
under
Okay.
4 minutes, so it's fine. Yeah, you're rushing through it. Think
Blanket
about
on.
it. Don't.
Now I'm going to start with the abdomen area. So
I
to
got it
provide
now.
privacy for the upper part of the breast area,
We'll be fine.
pull the blanket down. I'm going to put the towel over her.
And you know, because it's off by 2, she's going to say something.
100%. Two's a lot.
Yeah.
It's like 2.5.
Washcloth.
Alright.
Don't forget.
And if needed, in between, if the patient needs new warm water, I'm going to make sure that I leave the room, put the guardrail up, and then remove myself to go get new water, then come back, if needed. Okay, my pad dry. Okay, the blanket back on. I'm going to do the right leg.
No, I got. Oh, the gloves? That's the extra glove that you can get on.
Tuck underneath. Start with the foot. In between the toes. From the ankle up. Get in between that. In between the vaginal area.
I wish I had my watch.
And the groin. Make sure you always get underneath the leg. Take the towel to pat dry. And if the patient has dry skin, you always want to make sure that you ask if they need any lotion. So you're going to lather from the ankle up. And then always with the foot, you're going to do from the bottom of the foot up and never in between the toes.
Yeah, for practice, I never had a problem with the damn drip rate.
Blanket back on the patient.
This one's the easy drip rate.
Okay, I'm going to go back onto the other side to do the left leg.
Okay, ready?
Up,
Steady.
rail up.
You're fine. Bye, guys.
Take my stuff.
Ready? Yeah. 1, 2. Pounding, fingers are left, now be validating. How to set up our ice. So first, I'm going to walk in, introduce myself, identify the patient, check position corner, explain the procedure, gather all my equipment, provide service, and wash my hands.
Okay.
Now that I wash my hands, I'm going to
Washcloth.
glove.
Patient's foot first, always. In between the toes. And the ankle up. Underneath the leg. In between the groin area.
Now that the patient is right, make sure
And the
it's
pat
all
dry.
well in the good. So now I'm gonna check my.
And again, if the patient needs
And check
any lotion, from the, gonna lather from the ankle up.
now that everything's
And then from
good,
the bottom of the foot up, never in between the toes.
just
Okay,
say
so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the back now. I'm going to wash the patient's back. I'm going to leave the room to get new water and new washcloth and towel. Rail goes up before I leave the room. Bed goes down. I'm going to take my gloves off.
Now I'm gonna wipe my bag and label my line and make sure it's clear.
Okay, so I'm going to wash my hands before I leave the room. I'm going to go get new water, make sure that it's warm, soap, new towel, and washcloth. So I did that. I'm going to come back into the room, wash my hands,
Wipe my bag now.
tie my gloves.
Want to label my line covered? Maybe date and time my bag.
Alright, so I have a new pair of gloves on. Now I'm going to make sure that the bed is all the way up to working position.
And so the drip chamber.
I'm going to lie the patient flat. down. Patient's arm up. So they're comfortable. Cross the legs. Make sure that she's closest to me. So I can roll her over. Count of 3, gonna roll you over. 1, 2, 3. Okay, make sure she's comfortable.
Why?
I don't know. Okay. The bubbles. Okay, you start the back area. Apply towel flat on so you get the bed wet. My soap and water. And my washcloth. Start the patient's back. Make sure you get the whole back area. Okay. Pat dry. I'm going to do the buttocks area.
Why does this not run? What happens? Does it get messed up after you open it?
And always make sure that when you're doing this part of the body, you always want to make sure that you wash from front to back. Okay. I'm going to pat dry the buttocks. Back. Okay. So now I'm going to do vaginal region of the patient. So I'm going to roll her back over. Make sure she's comfortable. Okay, we'll uncross her legs. Blanket up. We'll lift her legs, help her lift them if she can't do it on her own. I'll have her spread her legs a little bit. And she could do it on her own. If the patient's okay to do it on her own, I'm going to allow her. I'm going to be by her side if she needs any help, but if not, I'm going to assist her. Soap and water. Always clean front to back. Get in between that groin area. Change the position of the washcloth front to back. Make sure you pat dry. Back.
Don't forget to
Okay. Your stuff. Put the patient's legs down.
It's so common.
The blanket over her. So we finished bathing the patient. So now I'm going to make sure that she has a nice clean gown.
Glove.
Ready?
This is the last time. I don't know. 1, 2. Timing, Angela, not be validating for at night. So I'm gonna walk in, introduce myself, identify the patient, set the patient's order, explain the procedure, gather my equipment, provide priority, and monitor stuff. Now that I've walked in, I'm gonna
Make sure you spread the gown out evenly. It's not stuck underneath the patient. I'm going to lift her up so I can just get behind her neck to tie her gown for her. Have her sit up if she can. If not, I'll assist her. Tie the back of the gown. Sit her back down. Okay, she's comfy. Make sure she's comfortable. You can always ask them, make sure they're okay. And if the blanket is soiled in any way, you always want to take the bath blanket off the patient, put it to the side. Make sure you provide for a brand new clean blanket for the patient, or a sheet if they prefer.
Hang it and make sure to fill the drip chamber halfway to 2/3.
Okay. Always ask the patient if there's anything else that they need at this time. Make sure they're comfortable in their bed and their bed is nice and clean.
It just stopped me.
Okay. Want to make sure that the head's at a comfortable position for her.
Come on. We're doing so well.
Okay. Put the guardrail up.
What's your name?
Head always has to go down before you leave the room. Okay, I'm going to give the patient a call bell and let them know if they need anything. I'll be right outside the door and come back to assist them if they need. I'm going to take my gloves off,
Recently bleeding. I'm feeling that.
dispose of them. I'm going to wash my hands, make sure all of the equipment's put away. I'm going to make sure that the patient's area is safe. There's nothing hanging around where the patient could fall over. And then before I leave the room, always make sure your hands are washed. And then that's the end of my validation.